Hey there, it's Missy again with the Shimmerz education team, and I have a new layout for you today. I used 5 different Shimmerz products on this layout, and I was inspired by this paper pad that I've had on my shelf for forever. It's from Michaels, and it's the Recollections brand, and I don't even remember the name of it right this second, but it's very, very pretty. It's got all these bright colors in it, lots of florals, and touches of shiny gold, and you can see it's got some black in the mix. I just thought it was really pretty, and I think I've had it over a year, and it's one of those things that you buy when you see it and you make one layout with it, and then it goes on your shelf and you forget you have it until you are forced to go back to your shelf and look around, and then you're like, oh, I forgot I had this, I should use it. So that's what I did for this. I kind of wanted to just dig into my stash, and so I pulled this out and flipped through it and picked out some papers that I liked, and then I went to my Shimmerz stash and picked out lots of different colors that coordinated with this. I love the pinky corals, the reds, the greens, and the yellows, and those are some silly pictures that I'm going to be using today, and I'm speeding through this because I don't even wind up using this on the page. I love these flowers, and so I fussy cut those out, and I wanted to kind of have them peeking out from the left of that photo strip because I have 3 pictures there in the strip and then one big one, and I totally changed that idea too. So this is a very good example of how you can have one idea in your head, and then when you start to do it, you're just thinking, this is not what I thought it was going to look like. And I don't know, I just didn't like this. I start layering things behind the photo strip, and I just don't even like it. So I scratched the whole thing and went with one of my trusty techniques that I know always works for me anyway, and it's using a die cut. So I went with one of my new favorite cut files from the cut shop, and it's the open letter alpha cut file, and you can make any word you want. And so I made the word Shenanigans, and I made it on a curve so it looked kind of wavy, and I cut my pictures, and I'm going to make them kind of go in a wave on top of the title. And my daughter was making all kinds of silly faces in these pictures. She was on the couch with my husband, and they were tickling and laughing and just being silly. And so, of course, you know, being the scrapbooker that I am, and I'm sure you guys do the same thing, you run and get your camera so you can take cute pictures. So I love that I got this because the big pictures, her eyes are all wide and she looks crazed, but she was laughing and having a good time. So my title is going to be Silly Shenanigans, and so I picked out papers from the collection, and I'm just cutting them and doing something that I've done plenty of times before, and just back the cut files with the paper. And it did take some time, so I don't film this entire process, but you can see what I'm doing here, and I'm sure you've tried this technique before, or you've seen someone who has, and this is a good way to get lots of color and pattern on a layout in small doses. You know, you've got little bits of it there. So I've got the word done, and I think that looks cool. I love the colors. I like the mix of that shiny gold and the pops of black and that corally pink color. So as you can see there on the right, I've got a lineup of Shimmerz products. So I'm going to start with this white cardstock and add some clear gesso just so I can make sure that all my watercolors are not going to seep through the paper. So this first one that I'm going to start with is an Aqua Huez. That's one of the newer products from Shimmerz, and it's just a flat watercolor. There's no shimmer, no sparkle to it. It's just flat color, and this one's called Green with Envy. And I don't know, the more I looked at the color scheme, I really wanted some green going on. It's a color that I don't reach for a lot, that really bright lime / grass green color. So I thought I'm going to go with that and do my background in several shades of green. The one that I'm using here is Creameez, and it's called Let Us Get Together, and it's a little bit deeper green, and I'm just kind of creating some shading here with my water brush. And I'm going to go back and forth with the plastic packaging. And I'm just trying to create a little watercolor effect here because my pictures are going to cover a lot of it. So I want to make sure that it's coming above the pictures. So right there you can see that I'm covering up a lot of what I just did. So that's why I wanted to bring my pictures back in and test it out. And so I know that I need to go higher on the cardstock here for you to be able to see it. So I'm going to use both of these greens back and forth. And this is the beauty of getting multiple shades of different Shimmerz products, is the layering. You can layer them and get different effects, you know, because you've got one that's a little bit lighter, one that's a little bit darker. And it's really neat when they dry because you can see the different tones of each of them. Now this here is one of the original Shimmerz products. It's one of the older colors. It's called Jilted Jade, and it comes to you already wet. So all you have to do is mix it up, and it's got like chunky glitter bits in it. When it dries, it is super sparkly, and the paint itself is a little bit thicker. And I love the mix of these greens together. I think it looks really, really pretty. And the Creameez that I use, the Let Us Get Together, I know I've said this in several videos before, but the Creameez has a satin finish to it. So you're going to get a little bit of shimmer, but it's going to be more of a satin finish. It's very, very pretty. So I've got that fixed up, and now you can see it above the pictures, and it's dry. And now I'm going to do something that I did in my latest Shimmerz Shorts video, and I'm going to use some bubble wrap here as a stamp. This gold color is so pretty. Oh my gosh, y'all. Gold. It's so shimmery and sparkly. Wait until it dries. You're just going to be like, give me my sunglasses because this is so shiny. Oh my gosh. It's called Good as Gold, and it's in Inklingz, which means it's going to have a lot of sparkle and shimmer. And I just wet some and put it on the plastic, and I'm using that bubble wrap as a stamp, smudging it down and then smudging it right onto the layout. And you can see some of the circles there, and it's supposed to be kind of abstract and messy, and it depends on what you're using. You know, if you're using thick acrylic paint, you would probably get much more defined circles. But since this watercolor is very watery, you're going to get a different look, and it's very subtle on this. If I was using a darker color, you would probably be able to see a little bit different, but I think it looks really cool. So you're going to have specks of gold going all through this green here. So I cut the word silly on my cameo, and now I'm going to do something else here with some, I actually pulled out Vibes Mango Tango, but I realized I grabbed the wrong shade. So what I do end up using instead of that is the Spritz in Carribean Sunset. It looks very similar to the Mango Tango, but it's got more of a pink feel to it, whereas this Mango Tango has more of an orangey feel to it. So I'm just using my heart stamp here. This is a cheap stamp I found at Michael's a couple of years ago, and I'm going to stamp these hearts, and they're supposed to look kind of messy and watercolory. Let them dry, or take my heat gun to them here. It didn't take long for them to dry, and then I'm going to fussy cut them out on the outside and on the inside so I can create these open hearts. And this color matches that corally pink color that is in the papers very, very closely. And this layout is a good example of mixing and matching of the different Shimmerz products. Like I said, I've got an Aqua Huez, Creameez, Shimmerz, Inklingz, and a Spritz. So there I've got several of those hearts cut out, and now I'm going to come in with some of the papers from the collection, and I'm just going to add a little bit of layer behind my pictures. I didn't want too much going on behind there, but I did want little bits of color peeking out from behind the pictures. I don't have anything glued down at this point. I'm still, you know, moving things around, make sure that you can see all the green behind there. And there's also a little bit of the aqua teal green color in addition to that lime green color, so it's a nice mix of the green family. And you know, you could do this technique with any color scheme, any collection you have. You can mix and match your shimmers, the shimmers that you do have, and you can also blend different shimmers. So if you don't have a lot of shimmers, you know, look at what you have, and you know, you can mix colors together to create different colors, and it just depends on the color that you're wanting and the colors that you have. So I'm going to pop up two of the pictures just to give it a little bit of interest and a little bit of dimension. The first picture and the third picture. And then I sped this up a lot because it's something that I do quite frequently, and that is tangle up some thread and layer it behind things. And so I'm going to use the lime green color. It's more of a Kelly green thread, but it matches. There's so many different green shades, it looks fine. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of yellow. Actually, I think I used yellow at top and the green on the bottom. It's kind of hard to tell on camera. And since I only had this paper pack, I did not have any embellishments or anything to go with it. It was strictly just the paper pad. So that's why I made those hearts, because I thought, well, what kind of embellishments am I going to use for this? Because, you know, we get so used to creating with entire collections. When you only have paper, you have to dig into your stash and get creative. And so those hearts were an easy way to create embellishments. I did pick a couple of flare buttons from my stash, and those are from A Flare for Buttons. The one on the left that I'm working on there is white, and it's got the word love written on it over and over in black. And I'm adding shiny gold thread under the flare buttons because there is some gold in the papers, and so I wanted extra pops of gold. The one in the middle says be happy, and then the one on the right is just some scribbles in that yellow color. And I decided to do my journaling right under the title, and I wanted it to be a wave as well. And I don't even know why I thought of making the title wavy. I just thought of something I hadn't tried yet, and I was just playing around with it in my Silhouette software, and I thought, oh, that looks kind of cool. And you know, since the pictures are of her being silly, it might as well be a crazy silly title. So that's kind of how I thought of it. Now I'm going through some sticker books here that I've gotten at Michael's and Hobby Lobby over the past few months, and they just have stickers, and they're gold, black, white, clear type stickers. And this gold one has just generic sayings for almost anything. So the circles at the top I just added say ha ha ha, and I added that circle on the right, but I decided to take it off. Then I decide I need something down at the bottom. What else am I going to do? So I get my old school, well, it's not old school, I've just had it for a while, Martha Stewart heart punch, and then I go through this pattern paper and try to punch out one heart of each of the colors that I have on the layout. And I'm just going to create a simple little line of hearts down here at the bottom. I thought about making it wavy, then I thought, well, I'll just make it straight. This was definitely a layout that I was just thinking as I went. I didn't really, you know, I got to a lot of times where I just stopped and I thought, I don't know what to do next. You know, do you have those moments? I did some stitching there through the hearts and the title. And you can see the shimmer there and the sparkle of that gold paint. It's very, very bright. The pictures and the camera work don't do it justice. It is extremely beautiful in person. It is the epitome of shiny gold. So again, that's called Good as Gold, and it's an Inklingz. And when you get the Creameez and the Inklingz and the Aqua Huez, I know I've said this before, but in case you haven't watched any of those other videos, they come to you dry, and you just have to add water, and you can stir them and start using them immediately. Or if you want the paint to get a little thicker, you can just let it sit with the water in there for a little while, and then the paint will soften up and it will get thick. And it just depends on what you're going to use it for. So that's going to complete my layout. There's the finished product. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the Shimmerz. You can check out the Shimmerz Shorts videos. I do those every Thursday to give you lots of tips and techniques and information on all of the Shimmerz products that we have. And, you know, if you have a request, let me know, and I will try just about anything with these Shimmerz products. So I hope you guys check out the Shimmerz store. I'll have all the links down below, as well as all the products that I use today. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.